Hey guys, I'm back. I didn't realize how long it takes to upload a video on YouTube, but you know, if you want the message to get out and to help people heal, you gotta put the effort. Nothing comes easy. So, we're gonna get back into my life story. It's not my complete life story, but we're gonna get back in. Welcome to my bedroom. I had to get comfortable for this one. Guys, I love you so flippin' much. All right. Mind you, when I was writing this, I'm going to remind y'all again. When I was writing my story to help me heal and understand, past traumas, I cried the whole entire time. And, the one thing I wanted out of all of this was just to be heard. And if it meant that I put my whole entire life, all the embarrassed moments, all the heartache, all the truths out there, and, people would listen, I was gonna do it. So when we complete this book, I'm going to share my Facebook page with the documentary that I created throughout our journey. And so, it's a lot of work, y'all. Healing is not easy. If it was easy, a lot more of us would be healed. But our testimonies will help people heal. This is why God puts us in certain places at certain times. All right, let's dig in. Thanks for listening to me. All right, let's talk about the weddings I got to attend in Egypt. I was fortunate to experience some of the most beautiful parties ever. Nanny would take us all to the bridal shops in the United States, to try on beautiful dresses to prepare us for the weddings we were attending. She made sure all of us looked stunning. Nanny was always selfless and always wanted my father to be happy. So she did everything in her power to cover every loose end and everything. The weddings were not the traditional wedding you would attend in this, like the ones we have here in the United States. Oh my gosh, Middle Eastern weddings are phenomenal. They're dreamy. They lasted 2 to 3 days. The woman would attend the henna, which I know a lot of y'all know about, like the henna tattoo art. They would get all henna tatted up, all up their arms and their feet. And it was beautiful. Little designs, flowers, gorgeous designs. And even in the States now, people get it done, especially different cultures like Indian, Pakistani, Hindu. The Middle Eastern people do here too, but it's just not as exciting as it is overseas. Okay. They would all get together and henna each other. Henna was used to color our hair. It left a burgundy tint, and the red dye would dye the tips of our nails. Plus, henna is very good for your hair. It's really healthy. And we would draw flowers and beautiful designs all over our arms and hands. The men would have their own party. Then there would be the sacrifice of the goat or the lamb. At the poor weddings we attended, I can remember this, and I wrote this in my book because this is a site that I can't forget it. But there was a poor wedding that we attended. And it was somebody on Nanny's side of the family because they were more country. Yeah. At the poor weddings we attended, they butchered the goat or lamb in their kitchens, and there would be blood everywhere. I mean, they would have like this drain in the center of their kitchen, and they would butcher the goat in it, and they would just let all the blood just stream down. It freaked me out being young and seeing it, but then now that I'm older, I know it's culture, and it's really cool. Yeah. And then I went on to say, however, there would be a drain in the middle of the kitchen floor that would absorb drain the blood. And we would boil the head of the goat or lamb and make a broth for the rest of our feast. My absolute favorite would be stuffed grape leaves. And I'm sure you guys here in the States have had dolmas. Yeah, but in Arabic we call them warq ainab. And man, they are so, so good. I don't know how to make them. but I'm gonna learn. But yeah, it goes on to say my absolute favorite would be stuffed grape leaves. It was a blend of rice, ground beef, goat, or lamb, and different seasonings. I think I really just enjoyed sitting in Aunt Med's kitchen dining room while making it together. All of us pitched in. There were good memories. Then there would be the wedding. The dresses the brides wore were more beautiful and exotic than the brides that were showed in this TV. And I compared it to this TV show I used to watch called Gypsy Weddings, because I've always been like very intrigued with all the colors and all the bling and the jewels and stuff, you know. But yeah, these weddings here in Egypt, the dresses were, my God, like queens and king, like queens and princesses, and just the most extravagant dresses I've ever seen in my life, you know. Um, right before the wedding, all the women would go together to a salon, and we would get some of the best treatment. And this was the first time I had my eyebrows threaded. By the way, I need to get them waxed. Though it hurt, it was the most beautiful eyebrow job I had ever seen. They used old-fashioned curlers to braid our hair, or to straighten our hair, which sat on top of a fire to be heated, and then they would curl or, straighten your hair. In my 37 years of existence, no salon has ever beat the stylist work I've been fortunate to experience in Egypt, and this is truth. And then it goes to say, I dream of getting married in Egypt one of these days. I think that would be the coolest thing, you know? And then I go on to talk about, okay, it says, I smoked my first joint with my cousin Mo in Mansoura, Egypt, on the first floor of his family's chalet in his aunt's apartment while they were out of town. I really just wanted a cigarette. My cousin told me to come with him. This is before I knew what marijuana was, y'all. I had no clue. Alright. Okay, what did I say? I hit it like I would hit a cigarette. That was the worst mistake ever. Ever. But only to realize instantly it wasn't a cigarette. At that moment, I realized I needed to improve my Arabic. All we could hear was my Aunt A screaming from the third floor, Mo Yawella, which means, hey boy, Mo. And Mo and I were trying hard to get rid of the hashish. That's what you call marijuana, I guess. Hashish. Smell. And then we hid for about 10 minutes. Then made it back upstairs. Mo got yelled at. I'm sure my Aunt A was smart enough to put two and two together. She knew that what we had just done, but I think she was more worried about my father finding out. So we hung out with her for a few hours. It would have been cool to have that recorded. But yeah, it was a weird feeling. And then I go on to talk about Busbus, and I loved Busbus, my cousin, just a female. And I love talking about boys. Our parents let us go to the Natty. It was the hangout park all the kids and teens would go to hang out, play tennis, eat ice cream, flirt. Our parents didn't know anything about that at this time. I was the American white girl that all the boys wanted to get to know and wanted to marry because they wanted to go to America. Guys, you don't realize how good we have it here in the United States of America. It is every foreigner's dream to come here with their families. You know, all the resources and stuff that we have here. It's phenomenal. But yeah, because they wanted to go to America. All the boys tried talking to me. The dream of most people is to live in the USA. I was known as the Mona Lisa. All the guys called me that. Mona Lisa was ugly. That's what I thought. You know. Now that I've studied a little bit about art, it was a beautiful painting. Back then, I didn't know the real beauty Mona Lisa possessed. I was a celebrity in Egypt. I loved the attention. When Busbus and I got home from the Natty, we would wait till her parents fell asleep, and then we would sneak into her father's office and sit underneath her father's desk and use the office phone to call boys. We would be so quiet, be so quiet, we didn't want to get caught. Mo, my male cousin, he had our backs. He would look out, make sure no one was coming down the hall. I remember when the style for girls was skirts that were attached to pants. They were like black leggings or any colored like a legging with like a mini skirt like attached to it. It was cute. At the time I thought they were stupid, but 8 years later in the States they were popular. I mean, you'd see everyone here wearing them, but I thought they were just weird. Now that I think about it, they were cute. I would wear one now. Yeah. But yeah, they became popular here in the States. A lot of things came out in Egypt before the States. I remember listening to Ace of Base, one of my favorite songs. I saw the sign and it opened up my eyes. I saw the sign. Without understanding. And it goes on and on. I love that song. Yeah. Or Ace of Base also sings, all that you want is another baby. She's out to get you. All that you want is another baby. I think those are the right words. I'm not sure. But yeah, I love Ace of Base. And then the first time I ever heard NSYNC was in Egypt too. Backstreet Boys, Spice Girls. Oh my gosh, Spice Girls. For the first time in Egypt. And when we returned to the States, the music didn't come out for another year. Egypt had McDonald's and Pizza Hut. Everything we had in the States, we had in Egypt. And everything in Egypt was of better quality and more affordable compared to, the Egyptian guinea. That's what you call it. And then you have the American dollar, So it was more affordable. But that's how it is in a lot of foreign countries, Just the equivalent to $1 is, more. But less here. We would visit Egypt every other summer for 3 months and then return to the States. We all cried when we had to leave. It was bittersweet. My time in Egypt, honestly, with my blood relatives, I felt loved. Like, really loved, We'll get more into it in a bit. It's crazy because with the trials that I've been through in my life, or the choices that I've made coming from a Muslim family, who is set in their ways. And, we all families, I don't care what religion, what culture you are, no one's perfect. We all make mistakes, right? But we should love one another no matter what. You know what I'm saying? I don't get upset about it. I just, that would be a dream for me to see everyone love each other unconditionally no matter what, Alright, so we're going into chapter 4, and this is when my life starts to, I start to get older, and it starts to get harder on the entire family. I'm only going to read a little bit. I'm going to read 2 pages, and then I'm going to cut the video short after I explain a little bit, because I don't want to overwhelm y'all so much. But as I've said before, these videos are for you to just open your eyes and realize you're not alone in this crazy thing that we call life, and that we all struggle, But there is peace and there is happiness after, after the struggles, after the lessons are learned. It's going to be a tough one, but it'll be worth it in the end, okay? So this is chapter 4. It's called Cancer. My father ended up finding a house in Auburn, Alabama on McKinley Street, so we all moved from New Orleans and became a part of the Auburn, Alabama community. Siti came with us, but still, she still owned her house in New Orleans. She was just lonely and she wanted to help Nanny with all the kids. Okay, guys, I do want to bring this to your attention. I gave people the benefit of the doubt my whole entire life. I always gave them an excuse for things that they've done to me, that hurt me and traumatized me throughout my life. Through this experience, through this healing process, I've learned that we all have free will. We all make our own choices. One thing I learned about myself is no matter how hurt people, cause all the pain that was caused to me in my life, I never, not once, did I stoop down to that level. And we have to, we can't blame the evil things or give excuses to people for the evil things that they've done to us. No, because we all have free will. Okay, and this took me a lot because with the big heart that I have, for a long time I just wanted to give them excuse after excuse and just be like, it's okay. But on this journey you will learn to set boundaries, and you will learn that the stuff that you have been through, it's been so much on your heart, on your soul, that you just need to set those boundaries and you need to break free for yourself. Okay, so stop giving people excuses and do not give people credit where it is not due. These are things I had to learn. Yeah. So okay, Nanny and my father found out they were pregnant with a little boy. At this time, Siti's true colors started to surface, and little Elmo and I learned quickly that playing with each other was not normal. Okay? Y'all, I've come a long way because, in the beginning, I would cry talking about this, but now, like, that you are truly healed and you've learned from, things when it doesn't bother you. It's just you have the awareness and the strength to share your story with people so that they can, stop feeling like the victim and realize that they overcame a lot of shit a lot of people wouldn't have overcome. I got your back, man. When you feel like no one does, I got you. Okay. Kids, okay, this is speaking. It says, kids, come downstairs. We have something to talk to you about. My father shouted from downstairs. All of us came running down the stairs and into my father's office. Nanny looked like she had just seen a ghost. My father kept rubbing his eyes, and Siti was trying to get all of us to sit down and be quiet. The nanny says, kids, I have cancer. Y'all, I know that many of you have had to watch a lot of your family, suffer and struggle with terminal illnesses, and it's part of life. And I'm gonna need my vape. It's part of life, when things like this happen, it's supposed to bring your family together. But, a lot of the times, too, your family won't know how to deal with something so traumatic, and people will not communicate, and things will get handled more stressful, and the outcome can turn out pretty bad. But as I've said, everything is divinely orchestrated the way God wants it to be, Alright, so Siti was trying to get all of us to sit down and be quiet. The nanny says, kids, I have cancer. Then she got her doctor on the phone and put the conversation on a speakerphone. The doctor goes on to say, kids, you guys have to help your mama out and be on your best behavior because she is really sick. All of us began crying. My father told us that he would be going back that we would be going back to New Orleans with Nanny and Siti because Nanny's chemotherapy would be in New Orleans. Nanny and her family knew a few good doctors. They were Muslim Egyptians, really good people. Yeah, and this is why I say you cannot judge all Muslims from some of the stories that you hear in my book. Just like you can't judge all Christians for some of the murders and crimes that they have done in their lives. You know, there's good and there's evil, there's bad and there's good, you know, but not all of us are the same. We all are different, you know, and we all have free will. Okay. Whew. Nanny didn't just have... Okay. Nanny and her family knew a few doctors. They were Muslim Egyptians, really great people. Nanny didn't just have breast cancer. She had lupus, multiple sclerosis, and was in awful health. God bless her soul. Siti took on the mother role. And honestly, I think Siti was sick too. But she had to be tough. Some years later, they found her dead in her home. I'm not sure how she died, but I think Siti was sick, but she was the type of person that she believed if God wanted her, he would take her when it was her time to go. So she continued living her life. She was like... Siti was a very, very strong woman. She wasn't the type to go to doctor's appointments. She truly believed that if God was going to take her, he was going to take her. And she truly had to be strong. And we're going to get into her story in a little bit, you know, because there are things that I can justify a few of her actions. Because, you know, I'm an empath and I get people. But there are things that were not justifiable. But I forgive her, you know? Yeah. It says, the narrator insert that I inserted was, I believe in deaths by threes. When Nanny died, Siti died, then little Baghdadi died too. In order to heal, you must forgive. Your soul deserves and desires a freedom from those chains that truly hinder your growth. I need to press this. I want everyone to know that no one is bad. We just make bad decisions. Some of us are more fortunate than others and learn. Like my partner and myself, I'm fortunate to have been divinely guided into the right direction and fortunate enough to be given the opportunity to right my wrongs, face my karma, and break generational curses. Guys, we have a paradigm that we can change. It is possible. You don't have to be what people tell you are. Your life, your destiny is yours. You have the choice and the chances and the opportunities to create your best life for your best self. You just need people like me to remind you that you are important. Siti was the type of woman whom, while she was married to Nanny's father, she wore the sexy sundresses. She was, in fact, beautiful. She used to wear her makeup and do her hair. Though I may read a little bit more in this video. Nonetheless, her husband, Nanny's father, had an affair and left her to an American white woman. You know, and I wrote it in this book because... Like Siti, she's full-blooded. She's Egyptian, you know. She's from Egypt. She came from a poor family, right? Okay, and for her husband that she bent over backwards for, you know, it literally kissed the ground he walked on to leave her for an American, blonde-haired, you know, just woman. That is the biggest slap in the face. It is, you know. But you're going to learn a lot more about that man. A lot more. But I go on to say, all Siti ever tried to do is make Nanny's father happy, but she also was sick mentally and made his life hell. And there's truth in this, guys. And guys, we have the ability to help people cope and become better people, but also our actions can create monsters in other people or bring out their demons more and vice versa. Okay? Um, but also she was sick mentally and made his life hell. It was like a slap in the face to her, I'm sure. You will learn later how dysfunctional my family really was. And really, I would like to say right now, yes, there was dysfunction, but there's a lot of unhealing, unhealthy is what I would prefer to call it now, you know? We can just pray that everyone just wakes up, and sees God and remembers God. It remembers that God is who we have to, put all our faith in and trust in. Okay. Nanny's father tried turning Nanny and Nanny's brother against Siti. Nanny's brother disconnected from them for a while and then eventually came back around. That's another story in itself. Siti was hard to get along with, and I now understand why everyone stopped associating with her. I love her, but I know she had some mental illness, and I don't excuse the abuse that she put my brother and myself through. You'll learn more about it, but I do pray that God. I pray. That's all I can say. It says, my father had to work, and all of my stepmom's doctor's appointments were in New Orleans, so we lived at Sitsy's while my father stayed in Auburn, Alabama. I hated him for allowing that. Little Baghdadi got to go with his mom everywhere, and little Elma and I were stuck at a house with Sitsi. I mean, she really and truly ruined our childhood. Little Baghdadi ate better than us. I remember little Elmo sneaking a snack cake out of the pantry, and Sitsi found out it was gone at 2 a.m. We were probably 10 and 11 years old and had school the next day. Sitsi got both of us out of bed and made us sit at the kitchen table with a plate full of literally a foot high of Nutty Buddy bars, Star Crunch cakes, ding dongs, brownies, and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. We were forced to eat every single crumb off of our plates, or there would be no sleep. If either of us threw up, she filled the plate up again, and we were forced to eat the entire plate. Sitsi literally made little Elmo eat some of his throw up while she criticized little Elmo. Little Baghdadi would always try to take the blame to help us out, but that didn't matter. Sitsi didn't care if it was a school night or not. She believed little Baghdadi to be perfect and us to literally be Satan's spawn. There were times she had us wash all the dishes used to make our food, and if a single dish didn't squeak, I mean literally, y'all, the dish had to squeak. She returned every single dish we had already cleaned back to the sink if the dish didn't squeak. I will tell you this, I did get a... I'm kind of anal when it comes to my dishes now. Like my partner, he'll put them in the dishwasher without cleaning them. Me, I think, and this comes from my childhood, I have to like literally take a sponge, put soap on it, and just scrub them because I don't trust that dishwasher. I do not. But so there were some traits that I did pull with me into adulthood that I like, even though there was a hell of a lot of abuse. Cleanliness I learned from my grandmother, from Siti. And even in the Muslim culture, you'll hear there's a saying that goes "Nadafa min al iman," and it's kind of like the American saying, "Cleanliness is next to godliness or close to godliness," and it's very true. You have got to be a clean human being. But yeah, so this is what I'm saying. There is growth, there is love, and there is good in every situation. Maybe I was put in that crazy situation to learn how to do the dishes. No, I'm just kidding. There's more to that. But yeah, you can take any pain and turn it into something great, and it's called alchemizing, y'all. We alchemize our pains and our traumas and see the lessons that we're learning from them, and it empowers us. It gives us more strength to face things because y'all, your traumas in your childhood, those are not the last traumas that you're going to come across or come against in your life. There are going to be more trials. And every trial that we go through as kids, going into teenage years, going into young adulthood, going into adults, y'all, there are stages and there are phases, there are different devils for different levels, but it's preparation. Everything we go through is to prepare us, to become stronger and to slay the demons, yeah, so it's cool. But yeah, plus the dishwashers. Okay, so if the dishes did not squeak, she would pull all the dishes out. And mind you, little Elmo and I were like 10 and 11, and we would have school the next day. But she didn't care. It would be around 2 a.m. She'd wake us up, she'd pull all the dishes out, and she'd make us do them, all of them. Again. But she would make us, okay, Siti was, and then I go to say, Siti was strange. I believe she went too far when it came to some Islamic beliefs, because she would make us sleep on our right sides, and if she caught us sleeping on our left sides, we would be woken up by a smack in the face. She believed that sleeping on our right sides was like sleeping with the angels, and sleeping on your left side was like sleeping with the devil. She was pretty twisted. Now that I look at that, I don't want to call anyone twisted, but that is kind of weird, Bless her. Okay. And then it goes to say, we had many sleepless nights. We ended up moving back to Auburn because Nanny was in remission. Auntie and Unc's family came to visit, but that was short-lived because her son, who was like a brother to me, I told y'all that we call him Big Bro. Big Bro got really upset with the way Nanny and Siti mistreated us and became pissed at them. Finally, someone stood up for us for the first time. The people that tried protecting us were alienated from our lives. We learned quickly no one ever stuck around. A lot of people, got tired of seeing just the abuse and just us getting mistreated. The crappy thing about it was, yeah, they would stand up for us, but it's like, when they left, they really left, and we didn't see them for years, and it's just like, it kind of sucks because, excuse me, because, like, if it were me and I was the adult and I saw something like that happening, there would have been no way in hell I would have left, without coming up with a solution, to help, to mediate the family, or, you know what I mean, to make sure the kids were safe, but these are lessons. Anyways, I'm about to cut this video short, but these are just, I just really, really, really love being able to understand this journey, All right. It says, the people that tried protecting us were alienated from our lives. We learned quickly no one ever stuck around. I think that was when my father woke up and started paying more attention to what was really going on. It took my father long enough to finally realize he was tired of us being abused. Sadly, that was the day I lost my true family and any chance of living a normal life. I considered Unc and Auntie my family, Because, my auntie, she raised me as a baby, I was her baby. So really, in all of this, I understand where I have mastered just being able to detach from people, because as a child, this was the norm. But later on in life, it protected me, because God knows, and you guys are going to learn all the things I went through, to get to where I'm at. God knew I needed to be able to master detachment, no matter what situation I was put in, and I am so grateful for that gift. At that point, I knew little Elmo and I were fucked. Excuse my language. No, I'm kidding. We're fucked, because who were we to confide in and tell what was going on when we felt unsafe and had no one? My father was always at work. That is the very first time I questioned God's existence. I remember that too. Anyhow. Alright guys, so we're already at chapter 5, and I hope you guys are enjoying this. Thank you for listening to me and watching me. I want y'all to understand that, like I said, we have to go through these things because God only puts his strongest warriors in the front line to fight his hardest battles, to prove to, the unkind and and the mean and the hateful and the injustice and the corrupt that he is still here. He is here and he is not going anywhere. Because there are going to be times in your life where people will think that they are God. God will come in. And he will show these evildoers, these awful people, these people that have been given many, many chances to correct their wrongs, how right God really is. Guys, I love you. I'll be back. God bless you. Keep your head up. Keep your head up. It gets better.